Hey everybody, Prepper Nurse One here. How's everybody this evening? I hope everybody's doing well. Hope you had a nice weekend. Fall is in full swing up here in New York. I can tell you that. The weather's getting cooler for sure. If you saw an earlier video today, the leaves are coming down like crazy. Pretty soon I have to rake all them up, and then Eddie and I are going to have to take them and dump them into the garden. So, well, I hope everybody's doing good, and welcome. So we're going to talk about recent events, what's going on, and stuff like that. So I think that should be interesting. But before we get started, I just want to, let everybody know this is a family-friendly oriented channel. So please be decent to each other in the comments, and no racism or anything like that. If you do, and please watch your language as well in the comments. If you don't, my awesome moderators will boot you out because they do a fantastic job every week. So please just be respectful is what I ask. And if you can't be, well, then you'll be gone. So that's how that goes. Hey, Wolfang, how you doing tonight? Hey, JJ, uh, Mr. Rose, everybody. How's everyone doing? I hope everybody's great. So anyway, so that's what's going on. After I'm done talking, if you have a question or something that you want to comment, please put it all in all cap lock so it stands out for me. It just works that way a lot better. Watchman just said, hello, I just started my own Homestead thanks to you and your amazing channel. Well, that's awesome. I'm very happy for you. That's awesome. I'm going to tell you what, it is one of the, other than having my kids, one of the best decisions I've ever made was going off grid and starting life over. No regrets whatsoever. Really, really happy that I did it. So, life is a lot better now, a lot less stressful. And I think that's what I think a lot of people don't realize. Even though it's more work, it's a different kind of work. You're doing work to help yourself. And I think that makes a big, big difference. I really, truly do, because I think a lot of people don't think of it that way. And life is so different than it used to be. Being on that hamster wheel and not being on that anymore is just absolutely awesome, I can tell you. But so let's talk about some of the recent events that's going on. Let's talk about that typhoon that's hitting Japan. And I won't even try to pronounce the name because I'm sure I will butcher it, so I'm not going to try to pronounce the name, but everybody knows what I'm talking about. Last that I saw, 33 people were dead. And then on top of that typhoon hitting, they had an earthquake at the same time, like a 5.8 earthquake hit over there. So talk about a double whammy, just very, very sad situation for the people over there. And again, I mean, this is something that they deal with. I mean, the earthquakes over there are just insane that goes on over there in Japan. So, but they're in that area, and, that's what happens with them. So, but what are you going to do? But so that's very, what, guys, constantly we continue to see disaster after disaster after disaster after disaster. And it boggles my mind with this continued disasters that happen, not just in the United States, but all over the world, that more people do not prep and more people do not get ready. It is amazing to me. So and people just continue to do nothing about anything to help themselves. And realistically, that's what it comes down to. That, what you want to know? People say, well, what's prepping? Prepping is helping yourself. That's what prepping is. Being in a position where you're ready for whatever. And so, and I love the question when people will say, well, what are you prepping for? And I basically always have the same answer. I always say for whatever. So what does whatever mean? I mean, and we've gone over this a lot, and I'm going to just say it again, okay? Whatever means loss of job, sickness, death in the family, natural disaster that happens locally, statewide, countrywide, those type of things. You look at weather events. There's so many things that we prep for. It just goes on and on and on. Pandemics, financial collapse, Yellowstone supervolcano. I mean, wildfires in California. You know what I mean? Planned power outages by the power company. As crazy as that is, all those things. That's why we do what we do. And the more people that we can wake up to do that, the better. It really, really is. So, hey, our cabin in the woods. Good evening. How you doing tonight? Welcome. So, and exactly, Bruno just said prepping is insurance, and that's exactly what it is. That's what it comes down to. Prepping is insurance, like any other insurance that you have. You hedge your bets, and that's what you do. I wanted to say real quick, if you are not subscribed to the channel, please make sure you do subscribe. Hit that like and comment button or notification button, and make sure or bell, I should say, and make sure you get it so that you're getting all the notifications. So got a nice crowd in here already for a Sunday, which is awesome. Welcome everybody. What do I think about Turkey being part of the NATO, considering the events with the Kurds, U.S., Canada, Germany ally? You know what? Turkey's going to do what Turkey's going to do. You know, they've had an ongoing issue with Syria for a long, long time, and the Kurds and Turkey have been going back and forth for a lot longer than we've been going. We've been involved over there. So, everybody has a justification for why they do what they do, and there's been a lot of condemnation for their actions. But realistically, what did the United States do? We stepped aside and let them do what they wanted to do. We've had our issues with Turkey, and we're not being there as an ally for them. And again, how do here's the thing is, okay, and this is what you look at Turkey, you look at Saudi Arabia, and so we're going to talk about this for a second. So we'll get off on this tangent, if you will, and that's fine, and I'm good with that. You look at countries like that treat women realistically like they're garbage. I mean, and this is what truly, really amazes me with a lot of people being okay with some of these people that we are so-called allies. They treat women like garbage. I mean, they're secondhand citizens. They have to walk, a lot of them have to walk so many paces behind their man or their husband. They're forced into arranged marriages at very, very young ages. They have to be all covered up, all this type of stuff, and it's like, that's a Jacob Schmidt just said, none of our business. Exactly. What's going on over there is none of our business. Let them all kill each other, as far as I'm concerned. I mean, realistically, at the end of the day, if the Kurds and the Turkeys, the Turkian people all kill each other off, how does that affect anything that we're doing or what we want? I mean, that sounds terrible. I get it. But I'm going to tell you what, when we had the Civil War in the United States, certain countries took certain sides. I know that the French were, actually a lot of those countries were playing both sides, the North and the South. They were playing both sides because they were making money off of it. War's money, obviously. But you know what? No, there wasn't a whole lot. I think the French helped the North, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not 100% sure. I don't remember exactly. But, there's always games, always political grandstanding going on. People will kill each other until they get tired and stop. Yeah, I never see that happening. So the Turkish people are called turds. That's funny. Yeah, but Turks, right? I know. Very funny though, Mike. But again, it's just it amazes me, that the killing is just it's never gonna stop. People are never gonna get tired of killing each other. They're just not going to. It's what they do. Look in the United States. We love to kill each other here. Absolutely love to kill each other. It's like, if you look at like the crimes that go on in the United States, and you look at, what happens, what people do to each other. You look at these different serial killers that have gotten caught, and think about all the ones out there that haven't gotten caught. Okay, these are deranged individuals. There's something warped and something wrong. And of course, now you're going to get certain people who are going to blame it on porn. They're going to blame it on, whatever, mommy didn't hold me enough as a child. And everybody has every excuse in the world of why they do what they do. They have their justification. But I just honestly, this is my opinion only, of course, guys. I just think some people are not wired right. And so that's why they do what they do. They get off on it. It's a power trip. Realistically, 90% of it is not because mommy didn't hold me. They might have some anger towards their mother and stuff like that. And a lot of them do. If you look at a lot of the serial killers, there's a lot of hatred towards their mothers. Okay. And I just think it's a power trip for them. It's that power and control, like anything else, like our governments. So, they love power and control. I mean, there's no doubt about that. So, yeah, it could be mommy didn't spank them enough. Well, or too much. There's a lot of the serial killers had a lot of physical abuse where overstepping with the, punishment. So, but yeah, it's just, it's a very twisted, unfortunate world out there. And we're just, all trying to navigate that and try to live day to day and do what we do. And it's kind of crazy. It is absolutely kind of crazy. Well, guys, if you haven't shot me a thumbs up yet, if you would do that, I definitely would appreciate it. What do we got here? I can stew soups, meat, beef, chicken, pork, last for years, live between Daytona and Fort Wayne. Oh, okay. Carol is selling herself to be part of a group, which is nothing wrong with that. I'm going to tell you what, great ways to connect with people. Again, and I've talked about this, I do it, all the time in my videos. If you are looking to form a group, and we had a lot of people come and ask, how do I connect? How do I connect with people? And on my website is a great way to do it. We set that up on there. Mike, my IT guy, instrumental in that to set that up. And so what we did was we set up an area where like-minded people can come in and talk without judgment, where you can check out the message boards if that's all you want to do, if you want to go in there and just check that out. If you're looking to try to connect with people in your state or in your country, you can do that also. Again, if you're looking to try to form a group in your state or country, it's another way to connect with like-minded people. And, just having people to speak with, to talk to that are on the same wavelength that you are is an awesome thing. That's one of the things that I absolutely love about YouTube. Oh, yeah, I'll talk about that in a second, Sean Wheeler. We got to say, but it's one of the things that I love about YouTube is that connection, that brotherhood and sisterhood of the people on here, of connecting with like-minded people. So it's absolutely free to join. It doesn't cost anything. So if you go to preppernurse1.com, sign up. If you are having issues, I saw some people had some issues. I'm trying to refer people to Mike because he's my IT guy. He does all that technical stuff. That's not my area of expertise. So he knows how to take care of all those type of things. So he can help people out that way. So anyway, somebody just said on here, Sean Wheeler just said, and I'm going to repeat it. Happy Thanksgiving to all my Canadian brothers and sisters. Anybody from Canada? I know it's your Thanksgiving up there, so I hope you guys are having an awesome day with it. Ours is coming up next month. So absolutely my favorite holiday, always has been my favorite holiday, here in the U.S. because it is about family. It is about getting together with family, reconnecting, having a nice meal, and, of course, watching the Cowboys, who choked today, playing the freaking Jets. I'm like, unbelievable. I cannot believe it. Very disappointing. Very disappointed Cowboy fan right now. Have a chance at the end. Yep. Thank you for Bill Norwood for putting that up there. Yeah, for the score. They had a chance. 2-point conversion ties the game, but very, very disappointing. Sometimes it's hard being a fan. But my Yankees kicked butt last night, and hopefully they'll do it again tonight. Verlander's a tough guy, though, so hopefully the Yankees will take care of business tonight. So we'll see what happens. But anyway, so with the situation over, and now so here's the other thing too. And tell me again, isn't this part of the plan? If you want to think about it this way, okay? So let's go back with Turkey invading and fighting the Kurds. Who's getting to escape while all this is going on? Oh, that's right. All these ISIS fighters are going to get to escape, and guess what? Get to go and fight again. Again, just very, very interesting. I find it all, it's a manipulation beyond all manipulations. I mean, it is absolutely amazing to me that, you see these type of things, and there's always these little backstories that they don't really mention a lot about. But yeah, all these ISIS fighters that were held captive by the Kurds are now going to be out and free and fighting again. They will fight with Turkey. That's the problem. The Islamic State, like Turkey and Saudi, are the problem. Oh, yeah. I mean, the Islamic States, they have an agenda, guys. They absolutely have an agenda. There's no doubt about that. So, but, so I wanted to talk about this real quick. My daughter and I yesterday went and saw The Joker. And it was definitely very, very interesting. Gave a lot of, if you really want to get in depth with the psychological part of it, it's very, very fascinating. If anybody has seen the movie, I don't want to blow what happens in the movie, but there's a scene near the end what the Joker does. And, the way he said this, and this is what I found is interesting. He goes, no, he said, you brought me on here to make fun of me. Okay. And I think, unfortunately, that happens a lot. Okay, so here's an example of that. The people that support Trump, right? The deplorables, right? So they're ignorant, they're stupid, they're a bunch of toothless hillbillies. That's what the left tries to portray the base that supports Trump as, okay? So again, is that not belittling and downgrading people? It absolutely is. So, I mean, there's a lot to read into, that type of situation. So it was a really, really well done movie. Very, very fascinating. And like I said, you have to look into the depths of it. But it was very, very cool. I definitely would recommend it. Military warned military personnel about the Joker movie. Really, JJ? Okay. I thought it was absolutely well done. And spelling is not my forte, Schmitty, as everybody knows by this point in time. So, this Trump supporter has a 191 IQ. Well, that's what I'm saying. It's like they just try to belittle people is what they try to do. So, it's funny. There's a tremendous base of supporters for Trump that you're going to see out at the rallies. That are going to be wearing the hats and everything else. And then you're going to have the silent group of Trump supporters that have sat back, watched all the political nonsense that has gone on, and they're just sick of it, and they're going to wait. And I've called this before. If nothing changes, if some bright, shining candidate comes up for the Democratic Party that galvanizes people, if that doesn't happen, they've basically helped shoe in Trump for the next 4 years. Don't be shocked. That's what I'll just say with that. So, I don't know what he was saying, Mr. Rose, but if he's being a troll, just boot him, Mr. Rose. Just block him out. Send him right out on down the road. Because we're not going to have anybody. Like I said, there's no. Here's the thing, guys. I don't care if you're a Republican. I don't care if you're a Democrat. I don't care if you're liberal. I don't care if you're conservative or an independent in the middle. Okay, we all have the right to have our own views, and that's fine. I've had people make comments on my channel, anti-Trump comments, which is fine. They're entitled to their opinion, which is absolutely fine. But when a lot of those opinions, when I'm reading them, I'm reading how they've drank the Kool-Aid as well. So, it's bleeding green for life. Ha, 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 the Cowboys. Yeah, we've already gone over that part. So, he was just being rude? Okay, Mr. Rose. Yeah, if they're being rude, you can't really ban them for being rude, but just give them that time out like you did, that's fine. You're doing a great job, so thank you. But if people just need to open their eyes and pay attention to stuff, it's just, here we go. Instead of Kool-Aid, drink the green tea. Very soon, it's going to go to hot tea because this weather is definitely changing. I actually had a hot tea last night. We got a fire going last night, so I'm sick of all the liberal hypocrisy. Well, it's not just liberals. It can be some conservatives too. I mean, it's just you can't say, this side they're all wonderful, and this side they're all bad. I'm telling you right now, guys, I mean, I will never do that, because on both sides there are good and bad. Now, the extreme left and the extreme right, they have their agendas, don't get me wrong. And I don't always agree with everything, like I said, I consider myself a free thinker. I have some views that are liberal, and I have some views that are very conservative. But I try not to. I shouldn't say I don't, because I think everybody judges to a certain degree, but I try not to judge people on their views. As far as their views go, I try not to judge people on that, because it's like, even if I think they're wrong, I mean, if they want to have a conversation or debate about it, I'm all for it. They can make their points and I can make my points. But the thing is, if you think that you're going to convert somebody to thinking differently with logic or facts, that doesn't always work. So, Oh, the Watchman was after him too. Okay. That's cool. Nothing wrong with that. Yeah, it's the extremes that are the major problem. Exactly. John just said that. Yeah, so those are the ones that are the problem. When you have your Antifa groups like that are pushing a certain agenda, and you have your extreme right groups, which would be your white supremacist type, neo-Nazi type of groups like that. Those are your extremist groups, okay? The Black Panthers would be another extremist group that so there's definitely groups out there that, they don't see anything beyond color, which is stupid, or race or religion. And so, that's the problem. Because like I said, guys, at the end of the day, we all bleed red. If you cut us, we all bleed red. So, it's just, we're all human beings, and we should try to work together. Antifa and the neo-Nazis are similar, both trying to win with force and terror. Yeah, you're right, exactly. Intimidation, force, terror, it's an unfortunate thing, and it's not going to stop anytime soon. Unfortunately, it's just not. It's just going to continue to go on. But you got to understand who backs these groups, who supports them, follow the money. I mean, at the end of the day, follow the money. Where's the money coming from? And if you look at a lot of the stuff that goes on, George Soros is behind a lot of stuff that goes on, a lot of stuff. And yep, somebody had just put that in there. Yep, but he has an agenda. Hey, Pamela, what's the best way of to keep water storage? Okay, that's a good question. What I would suggest, it depends on how much space you have. Okay, but if you're going to do water storage, if you go to Walmart and get those 5-gallon, or I think they're 7-gallon totes, you can do it that way. IBC totes, the big ones with the metal cage, that's like 250 gallons. If you can do something like that, if you have the space for that, that's a great way of doing it. The 55-gallon barrels that they have, the plastic ones that are designed to store water, that's another great way to store water. I would recommend that if you're going to do it that way with a large capacity of water, rotate it out every 6 months, or at least once a year. Rotate that water out. Get rid of it, put fresh water in. That would be the way that I would do it. Like I said, for me, and if you can put in a cistern or a storage tank underground, it's a great way to do it too. I have a 1,000-gallon storage tank underground here that I have my water in. So I have my well, it gets pumped into the storage tank, and that's where it sits. Now, we get freezing cold temperatures up here. I have never had that water ever freeze in the storage tank, not once. So, let's see. Can you keep it outside? Well, it depends on where you're at. I mean, you're going to, like I got a 550-gallon rain catchment tank out here, okay? If anybody's seen a property, you watch my videos, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Every winter, now that's full of 550 gallons all the time because it's all rainwater off the roof. Every winter that freezes like a solid block of ice. Every single winter. And every spring it thaws. So, that's just another backup way to do it. Now, what I could do with that, if I went and bought, for that storage tank, if I bought a bunch of mulch, wood chips, or got them from like the power companies when they're trimming the tree lines and stuff, and buried that thing under all that mulch, it would not freeze. So if you can have some kind of barrier, again, if you can have it buried and covered up, it's going to be better for you if you're storing water. But like that is just basically that I use for my garden water and stuff like that. So I really don't worry about it. And the tank never breaks or cracks because it's a thick enough plastic, and I've never had an issue with it. And we've had it up here since the first year we were up here. So, but again, that's a backup on top of what I already have. So, you know, can you keep it outside, but you have to defrost it if it's frozen? Yeah, you can. If you know, if they have those things, guys, that you can that they use for troughs for like cows and stuff like that. It's a heater element that you could put in there, and that would keep that from freezing. You can utilize something like that if that's water that you're going to use. But again, if it's going to be something that you're going to have that you're using on a regular basis, to have it buried or covered up in a way. So you have that mass over it, which is going to help it so that it doesn't freeze, and then you won't even have to do that. Okay, so wish there was pills with dehydrated water in them. Yeah, that would be helpful. Yeah, that doesn't work like that though. Guys, if you haven't shot me that thumbs up yet, I see we got almost 600 people in the chat. If you can shoot me that thumbs up, I would appreciate that. So, so today, eggs wise. And again, I know it's fall and our days are getting shorter. Chickens are not laying like they normally do. Today we ended up with only 3 eggs today. Ended up with 1 adult egg and 2 pullet eggs. So that's where it's like yesterday. I think we only ended up with 2 eggs yesterday. The day before I had 7. The day before that, I think I had 3. So 2 or 3, something like that. But it's that time of year. That's what happens. When Brian came yesterday, I sent him home with 2 dozen eggs. So, because I know his girlfriend's very more organic type of stuff. That she does a lot of organic stuff. So, I was like, hey, here's a couple dozen eggs, you know. So, how long does bottled water last? It's how you store it. Bottled water, as far as like if you're going with gallon jugs, those do not last long because they're going to be compromised. The plastic's not going. It doesn't do well. Depending, especially if you have temperature variations. But regular bottled water, you know, I wouldn't keep it more than a year. That's my thing. If you're going to use it in a rotation, let's say you got 12 cases of bottled water and you drink it on a regular basis. So as soon as you drink that 1 gallon or 1 case, then you get a new case and put it in and keep that way. That would be fine because you're never going to have it get that old that way. How much does a dozen eggs cost in 11 years? Who knows? It would all depend on what's going on. But you know, I'm going to tell you what. The way I got my chickens too, guys, I ended up getting adult birds, and plus my younger hens, they were already feathered out, but they just weren't laying at that point. We had a neighbor that was moving. They were moving closer to Rochester, and they needed to get rid of their chickens. Greg told me that these people were, looking to move, and they want to get rid of their chickens. I went down, I talked to them, I looked at the chickens, and I went, yeah, I'll take them. And the lady was so funny. She goes, I go, well, when can I take them? She goes, you want to take them right now? And I wasn't quite done with the chicken coop yet. And I said, give me like a couple days. And then I finished banging out what I needed to do in the chicken coop. And so then we got the chickens, and that's how we got them. And then I kept them locked up for a week in the coop, and then like the last couple days is when I put in their fencing around so that and then the netting on top so that they could be protected from predators and stuff like that, so. But as far as with water, guys, storing water's fine, but also make sure you have filtration devices. Okay, that's really, really important because water's the number one thing. Water's number one. Without water, you're dead in 3 days. So, and I'm talking, fresh water that is, not contaminated. So you got 3 days. So if you have filtration devices, and again, if you live in the middle of the desert, you're probably not going to get a lot of water out there anyway. So you're going to need to either have a game plan of having a ton of water on hand, a huge catchment system that when it does rain, the little bit that it does, that you catch every drop of that water. Those are and I know some people do that, and that's how they store water that way. But you definitely need to have, some kind of filtration devices. Again, now I have no affiliation with the company, but the Berkey water filter system is absolutely awesome for a home. If you're looking to have water, mine is a 5 or 6 gallon container, and I pour the water in the top, and it slowly filtrates down through, and then we have all the water that we need. So it works really, really well, and it's a great way to do it. So let's see. Fill up 5-gallon jugs or water tanks, hand pump on the well. Yeah, Bonnie, having a hand pump is absolutely a good thing, or some kind of a siphon device that you can use to siphon that water. I think I showed you guys in my shop, I got a couple of hand pump siphon things. All I got to do with that, if I want to go farther down into something, like my well is an artesian well. So if I take the cap off of my well, that water literally, so here's the above ground, okay, this much above ground, that water's right there. I mean, it's right there. So I would just have to put that in and pump the water out that way. So water wise, I'm not concerned on my end. As far as doing water filtration, I have a lot of different options for water filtration, and I think that's important. I actually did a video. You can go back and check that out about water filtration, the different things they have. There's tablets, there's liquid, there's bleach, there's pool shock. You have your Sawyer straws. You have all those type of different things that you can use. Your Catadine water filter systems. They have the bottles that are, there's the straws, the life straws, all kinds of stuff that you can use. So. Let's see. Have bleach on hand also, James just said. Yeah, bleach is another great thing to have. The kids are doing good, Sean. The kids are doing good. Eddie's back home now. We switched off tonight. Heather doesn't go back. Our school doesn't start for her again until Wednesday. So I met the kid's mom halfway today, and I got Eddie back. So Eddie's home with me now, and Heather went. And she's going to spend 2 days with her mom now, and then Amy will take her back probably Tuesday night to the school. So, but they're doing good. The kids are doing awesome. Always have an extra filter. Yeah, Herman just said that, and that's really, really good advice. Extra water filters are very, very important. Really, really a good thing to have. So yes, again, like I said, water is number one. We can go 6 weeks without food. Would it be pleasant? Would it be uncomfortable? Absolutely. But 6 weeks worth 3 days. Or not 6 weeks, it's 3 weeks. I'm sorry. I think it's 3 weeks. So, but let's see. Oh, when is the bike ride video? We actually wanted to do it today with Heather. The leaves aren't 100% changed yet. They're really changing a lot, but they're not 100% yet. But she did not want to. She didn't want to do it. So, but yeah, what are you going to do? So I will definitely do a video, even if I have to do it by myself. Get up to speed and then just with one hand take the camera and get it going. I may do something like that. Just bought a August Farms number 10 cans of honey powder and bananas. Little at a time. Well, Moonlight, you know what? Again, that is the way to do it. Work it, methodical. Just methodically working at stuff. And the biggest advice that I can give you guys, if you have a project that you're working on, try to follow that project through to fruition. Okay? So, like right now, we're working in the shop. I need to work in the house too. Okay? But like Mom comes back tomorrow. So she'll be back here tomorrow, and we're going to work on the house. And the shop. Once the shop is squared away, then we're going to focus on the house. It's just working at it methodically, getting things done, and that's what it's all about. Do my kids play Fortnite? No, they do not. Neither one of them. actually play Fortnite. So they don't play. I've never had the Xbox or any of that type of stuff. That's not our thing. So Eddie plays some games with online and stuff like that. But as far as any Fortnite or anything like that, no, not at all. Honey powder. I've never heard of honey powder. I would just rather have real honey. I mean, that's just, but that's cool if you can get it, that's awesome. Yeah, every trip to the store, buy 2 or 3 extra cans and put back. Bruce Foster just said that, which is great advice because you really don't miss it if you do it like that. You go to the store, you're going to go shopping anyway, get a couple extra cans of this or that and set that aside, put it in your rotation. If it's something that you eat on a regular basis, then absolutely not a bad idea to do it at all. Yes, pool shock is a dried compound. It's in a powder. So you can get it, or you can get it in like blocks. You can do it that way as well. But yeah, usually it's a powder. Watch for sales where you can pick up extra food, and that's another thing too. Definitely take advantage of any kind of sales. I mean, they're doing a thing. I think right now Wegmans is where they like vegetables are 49 cents a can. I mean, it's a great opportunity. What are you talking about? $6 for 12 cans. I mean, you can't go wrong with that. It's a great way to stock up. Now, there's not a lot of nutritional value in green beans, as far as canned green beans and canned corn and that type of stuff, but there are good things that you can have with that. You know what I mean? But that it's something you can also use to change up the taste of a meal. So yeah, take advantage of clearance sales. Absolutely. If I see something like that I want on clearance, I've done that at Walmart before, and I've actually done it with there was one time, this is going back years ago. They had the 60-hour candles. It was the end of the season for hunting or whatever it was, and they had them on sale really, really cheap. And I think they only had like 6 of them, and I bought them all. That's how you do it. You get Gypsy Girl just said thrift stores, another great way. Thrift stores, garage sales, estate sales. You can pick up a lot of tools, equipment, clothing, lanterns, all kinds of camping gear. You can get it really, really cheap. It's a much better way to get stuff. To get it that way. I mean, I got probably 3 or 4 Coleman lanterns out there in the shop right now that I picked up at garage sales. And plus I picked up other lanterns as well. But and I didn't do it all at once. But now I got a whole bunch of lanterns. I probably have, I think 8 or 9 of them out there in the shop right now. But again, that's the way to go. How was your garden this year, Ed? Not great. Not a great garden this year. Not a lot of substance to it, to be honest with you. Last year was phenomenal. This year just wasn't. It just, we had a really, really wet spring, and then it went from being really, really cold to really, really hot, and it was just not a good year for gardening for whatever reason. And but those things happen. That's why getting a greenhouse is a huge priority for next year. I really want to get a greenhouse in, because once I get that greenhouse in, I extend my season both ways, and I can also grow cold weather crops as well. So, and I do. James just said rotate your crops. I rotate my crops every year. I never plant the same thing in the same spots year after year, because that's not good for it either. So peanut butter powder in a vacuum seal pouches will keep forever. Well, there you go. That's a very good advice, because peanut butter does have a shelf life, but the peanut butter powder, yeah, that's a great advice. All the truth news channels are disappearing. What's the news today? Yeah, a lot of them are going away. They're being attacked and and targeted, and that happens. I mean, unfortunately, I think that a lot of the stuff, there's a lot of fear stuff going on, a lot of fear mongering with the news medias. They want people to be afraid. They don't want you to. Fear is a great tool to control people too. Remember this, guys. Okay, if you're afraid, you're more likely to give up more of your rights and more of your. It's just like with the whole gun control issue. Okay, they're using fear as a tool so that people will say, "Oh yeah, we need to give them all up. We need to give them all up." And then only people that have guns are going to be the criminals and the police. In the military. And so that's just, we have that right as human beings to be able to protect ourselves. You're talking if you're in a situation and somebody's breaking into your house, you have seconds to act when that police officer may be 5-10 minutes away before they ever get there, or longer. The police response is not always going to be exactly what you would hope it would be. And a lot can happen in that time period. So being able to defend yourself is really, really important, I think. Oh, take a good look at the sun. Yeah, the sun is definitely going into one of its cycles, which is definitely going to affect the planet, which is why we're going into a grand solar minimum, which means the planet is going to be getting colder. So you're having a lot of extremes that way as well. And so I will never be without a gun, period. Nobody will ever take that right from me. Kevin H. just said that. Well, and there's nothing wrong with that. Again, it's a choice. We have that right to defend ourselves. And I'm not going to let some politician who is guarded by armed security tell me what I should and should not have or be able to defend myself. That's ridiculous. So. Yeah, featherfoot chickens, I do. My white birds have feathers on their feet. Yep, so all my white birds, I have 6 of those. That's what they have. Yeah, JJ says never disclose your weapon inventory to anyone. You are exactly right. Keep what you have under your hat. Do not keep all your eggs in one basket. That's also very important. Make sure you have things in different spots. Your ammo, your weapons. Do not keep them all in one area. That is not a smart way to do things at all. So, guys, if you haven't shot me that thumbs up yet, if you would do that, I would appreciate it. So we got like 660 people, and we got 340 thumbs up. So, Mr. Rose, did you grill anything today? No, today I didn't do any grilling. I didn't do any outside cooking today. Not at all. So. Today was pretty low key. Actually, both Heather and I, for whatever reason, I did not sleep well last night. So it was a weird day today. So I don't know what that was all about. Have I ever thought about putting seasoning packs in my rice preps? Well, you know what? I have a lot of spices, guys, that I have packed away. So I do prep spices. I keep them in the container that they're in. And they're packed away just like everything else. So I do have a lot of spices. Spices are a big part of my preps because being able to change the consistency and the taste of your food is going to be very, very important when that time comes. So I think it's just, and people need to think about that. We all have our likes, what we like and stuff like that. But now all of a sudden, if you're eating rice every single day, you'd lose your mind in a really short period of times. Rice and beans. Let's say you're eating rice and beans every single day. If you don't have a way to change that texture and taste of those foods, you will definitely lose your mind. Last night was the full moon, so bright the sky looked blue without the clouds. Was trippy. Yeah, I know. We had gone out last night to try to see the meteor showers that they're talking about that are going to go right through to the beginning of the month. And it was way bright with the full moon and everything out there. It was very, very bright. So, yeah, it was not a good night for trying to see that. I have a lot to learn new with prepping, Richard Ruckman just said. Richard, like I said, okay, the best advice that I can give you, like I said, just work at it steadily. Don't try to get overwhelmed. Don't try to do it all at once. It doesn't work well when you try to do that. It can be very, very overwhelming. So just make a plan and stick with that plan. And set aside a certain amount for prepping and use that. Like I said, water should be number one in anybody's book. Make sure you have proper ways to filtrate water. Have plenty of water on hand. 1 gallon per person per day is the rule of thumb for cooking and drinking. So take it. I don't care. Like I said, if you have a controlled space, if you go out and buy gallons of water And if it's like 3 of you, and you want to have 2 weeks worth of water, that's 12 gallons or 14 gallons per person for a 2-week supply. So that's a good way to start, and then work on other ways to build up your water storage. But if you do nothing else, make sure you have 2 weeks worth of supply of food and water on hand at all times, and then build it from there. Start with that 2 weeks. Actually, start with 3 days. Work on 3 days. Once you get to 3 days, then go to 6 days. Once you hit 6 days, then go to 9 days. If you just do it methodically, a little at a time like that, before you know it, you will have a lot of preps. I mean, you will have a lot of preps. So I have a tendency to be on the more extreme. I will go to the store and I will buy cases of stuff at a time. But that's just me. That's what I do. I don't prep for power outages. No, I don't have to worry about power outages at all because of being on my own system. I don't have any issues with that. So that's a really nice advantage that I have on that, because having my own power is absolutely awesome. Now, if a solar flare came up, then it would be a totally different thing. Hey, Vincent, I bought another battery pack and some freeze-dried food. Very cool. You know what? Keep rocking it out. That's the way to do it. Hey, L. Gibson, I packed small heat-sealed bags in basic spices for bartering. There you go. That's absolutely the way to do it. That is absolutely the way to do it. You know what, guys? Those hand warmers, and thank you for that donation as well. Hand warmers, foot warmers. You ever see them? They sell them all the time this time of year for hunters and stuff like that. Great thing to have. Great thing to have, especially if you're in a colder climate. Wonderful, wonderful thing to have. And you definitely should prep those as well. So, yep, socks. Get extra socks. Buy wool socks if you can get wool socks. But definitely have a lot of different socks, because socks can also be used as gloves in an emergency situation. I knit and have started blankets for my family and for trading too. Angel just said that. That's awesome. You know what? Like I said, those are great things to do. Great skills to have, and it will transfer over after a major event happens. Absolutely great things to do. Get those skills, guys. Learn them. That's definitely the way to do it. Hand washing charge. I changed from my solar system. USB powered hand warmers. Oh, okay. Wow. Okay, that's cool. You charge them from your solar system. That's very cool. Nothing wrong with that. I've not seen those before, but that would be very cool, because then you can use them over and over and over again. Yeah, you can't have too many socks. Absolutely, you can never have too many socks. Hey, Angel, no problem at all. No problem at all. Oh, you're near the Loch Ness. Oh, wow. So over there, across the pond. Well, welcome. But yeah, no, I'm going to tell you what, guys. Read the comments too, because I'm never catching everything in the comments. Some people have some great advice in the comments. Absolutely great advice in the comments. Hey, Mr. Rose, thank you very much for that donation. I appreciate that. And thank you for being one of my moderators too. You're doing a great job. So I do appreciate that. So what do we got here? My son got a whole hand warmer pack for Christmas. There you go. You know what? And again, there's another. Okay, so here's something I want to talk about real quick, because we're coming up on that time of year for Christmas and all those type of things. Great gift idea for you guys. Okay, I sell gift cards on my website at preppernurse1.com. So if you can get $50, $100, $250, and $500 gift cards, whatever you want to do. It's a great way to get a family member that doesn't prep. Give them that kind of gift card. They go to the website. They have to buy either merchandise or freeze-dried foods, because that's what we have right now. I do plan on expanding things on the website too to offer other things, but we have those gift cards available if anybody's interested in using that as a Christmas gift or something like that for a family member. And it's a great way to get a family member into prepping without them really realizing they're getting them into prepping. So just putting that out there for you guys. So what do I have planned for the homestead for next year? The biggest thing I would like to do, and it's going to be expensive, is, well, there's two things that I want to try to do coming up. I want to expand my battery bank, obviously, and I've talked about that so that I can utilize more storage for my batteries. And I was actually having a conversation with Brian when he was here about that. So I definitely want to do that, and I want the greenhouse. Somebody said, yep, Gypsy Girl just said, my greenhouse. I want my greenhouse. I'd love to get a greenhouse in next year. What I may do initially with a greenhouse, I may not do the whole thing with the geothermal and stuff like that. I might just try to get a regular greenhouse in first, just so I have it on site and it's usable. And then after that, because now if that greenhouse would not be right here by the house, it would be on the backside behind. Okay, so here's the chicken coop, and the dog run is here. Over in that area, up that way, I would want to put just a regular greenhouse in there. And I think that would be, because it's a lot of sunshine hits in that area. And I think, where, like behind where I put the second garden this year, back in there, I think would be a really, Bill Norwood just said 1-0 Astros. Okay, well, thank you for that update. I know I'll be watching the Yankee game after after we're done with the live chat. But so that's the way I plan on doing it. So I may put that greenhouse in first and then try to save the money. I am doing the motorcycle tours next year, guys. I'd probably mention that. So what I'm probably going to do is the major greenhouse build will be from the money that I get from doing the motorcycle tours next year. And I'm going to be doing a combination of guiding and being a support driver. I'm going to be working with actually somebody from YouTube here. So I don't know if he wants to be mentioned, so I don't want to mention it on here like that. But that's how, what I'll probably do is save that money, whatever I make from that, and try to utilize that to put in that geothermal and aquaponic greenhouse. Because, like I said, that is not going to be a cheap build. But once I have that built done, that's going to be an awesome one. I'm going to tell you right now, you're going to see a lot of cool stuff when I get that in place. Because then we're going to have, not only will we have chickens, we will have fresh fish and also regular fresh vegetable, which again, if I'm growing it myself and eating the stuff, the spoils of what I'm doing, number one, it's going to make me healthier. And it's just going to be better for me overall. So that's really, really important. So we got 641 in here right now. I'm going to ask for another thumbs up real quick if anybody hasn't yet. I see we're at 416 on the thumbs up. So if you haven't so far, if you could shoot me. I'm going to do trout. I'm going to stock trout, Sean. It's a cold weather fish. And I would never use tilapia. Tilapia is a garbage fish. I would not recommend that for anybody. But trout is a very hardy cold weather fish. So that's what I'm going to use for when I do my aquaponics system with the greenhouse. Okay, so because we got as many people in here as we do right now, we got to do this. We are Legion, guys. We are a huge family. We are many. There's many of us preppers, off-gridders. And so we got to do it. Where is everybody from tonight? So let's do that real quick, and we'll start reading some of those. Let's see. Sodish, Michigan, Pennsylvania, Ohio, South Dakota, Chicagoland, Ohio, Denver, Minnesota, BC, Canada, North Carolina, Arkansas, Michigan. Hey, Tim, for the greenhouse bill, thank you very much. I appreciate that donation. North Florida, Illinois, Texas, Ohio, Kansas, Indiana, Texas again, Oklahoma, man, air flying. The UK, very nice. Central Ohio, Colorado, Kentucky, Sweden, Brazil, very cool. Pittsburgh, New Jersey, South Jersey, Ireland, very nice. Stockholm, Florida, or California, Sheffield, Illinois. We got New Zealand, Maine. We have BC, Canada again. Alabama. Let's see. Minnesota. Oshawa, Ontario, Canada. Very nice. Hayward, Wisconsin. We have Georgia. Astoria, Oregon. Very nice. Houston, Texas. Oswego, Kentucky. Very nice. Atlanta. Very cool. Scotland. Very nice. Australia. Very cool. Tulsa, Oklahoma. London. Very nice. Florida. Michigan, Connecticut. North Alabama. Now, I know somebody's BSing with that one, so I'm not going to say that one. Oklahoma, Cleveland, Ohio. So, guys, we're all over the place. We're all over, and we're this huge family of people, and we're in a position where we can really be beneficial to a lot of people. If you're really from Iceland, Tom, that's very, very cool. I think that's awesome. I love how they do the heat over in Iceland too, guys. They actually utilize the volcanoes to utilize them for heat, which I think is very, very cool. So, but do I worry about living on the East Coast? I'm far enough inland, Mike, that I don't worry about being. I'm not right on the coast. I'm way, like New York City is about 400 miles away from me. So I am not on the coast. I'm actually up in the hills. And so I picked my location very strategically because I wanted to be high elevation, wanted to have water, access to water, and all those type of things. So yeah, it's no, I love the coast. I think the coast is absolutely beautiful. I've been on both coasts, East Coast and West Coast, and I just think that they're fantastic. But I wouldn't want to live there just because of the dangers of tsunamis and the cost of living being on the coast and the amount of people. There's too many negatives that outweigh the positives of living on the coast. So, ever been down to the Gulf? I actually have, Bill. I have been down to the Gulf. It's absolutely gorgeous as well. Louisiana, Mardi Gras is definitely on my list of things that I would like to do at some point. I think that would be very, very cool. Next year, I will be marking off one of the things that I wanted to do on one of the motorcycle tours. I will be doing Sturgis next year. So that will be pretty cool. And I'm looking forward to doing that. I will be visiting Yellowstone next year too. So the motorcycle tours, it's funny because it's like, even though I'm going to be working, it's like a vacation at the same time. I'm getting paid to tour people from the UK on these motorcycle tours and getting to see parts of the country a lot of times that I had never seen before. Like when I did the tours last year, I saw parts of the country that I had never seen before. And I thought that was absolutely phenomenal. And it was a lot of fun. I really, really enjoyed that. Let's see. The smartest minds are typically poor. Donate your almost old food 4 times. I'm going to tell you what, I'm going to take that one further than what you just said there. I think that the most giving people are generally the poor because they know what it's like not to have. And if they have extra and somebody is in need, I think that they have a tendency to be a lot more generous. And I think that, like somebody just said, pay it forward. Bill Norwood just said that. I think that's important to pay it forward. I really, truly do. We're very blessed, very, very blessed. And, I grew up poor, guys. I didn't have a whole lot when I was younger, and I appreciate everything that I have. And I'm going to tell you what, I'm a very, very fortunate person. I'm very lucky to be where I'm at and doing what I love, what I've dreamed of doing. And so that just makes it all the better. And, and if I can help people and I can inspire people to do the same thing, like I said, my biggest mission is to have you help yourselves. That's my biggest mission. And when the time comes, being able to help people that, are good, decent people that, need that help, that we can integrate right into the group, I think that that's really, really important as well. I really, truly do. So we're almost out of time here. This time goes by so fast every time, unbelievably fast. We're at 468. Let's see if we can jump this over 500. I haven't had over 500 in a thumbs up in a long time. When I get to South Dakota, look you up. Shoot me an email, Traveling Joe. Shoot me an email. Tell me where you're at and your information, and we'll see what I can do. Do I donate blood? I don't. I've never donated blood because every time that I went to do it, I'll tell you a true, honest story. Every time that I had gone to donate blood, it was right at I had gotten a tattoo previous to that. And they're like, if you've gotten a tattoo in the last time period, you can't donate blood. So I just never really went back and did it after that. So that's why. Yeah, they pay money for plasma. I know they do that. Will I do another get together? Yes, Mr. Rose. I'm planning on making it a yearly thing. We're going to do the prepper get together after the first of the year. I will get it reserved because you have to wait till after the first of the year before I can book for next year. But I will definitely be booking for next year, and I want to stay at the same pavilion. It was an awesome pavilion, and we had a really, really great time. And I think that that's really, really cool. It's a great way to connect with like-minded people, and it was a lot of fun, and we had a blast. We absolutely had a blast. Time to do a bug out get together. Yeah, we could do that too. I mean, it's like we could make something like that happen too. Oh, that would be cool, Bill. You absolutely. I try to be accessible to people as much as I possibly can be. I really do. So, people are telling what their profession is. Like I was talking about real quick about poor people that have suffered, have a tendency to be more generous. Like when rich people do it. Okay, so here's an example. I'm going to name drop when I do this. Tom Golisano, probably one of the richest people in the Rochester, New York area. He now spends more than half his time in Florida, and he claims Florida is his home state because he didn't want to pay the state taxes here, which I don't blame him. But anyway, he had donated like $10 million to the hospital in Rochester. Okay, so now the Children's Hospital. Okay, but now that Children's Hospital is called the Tom Golisano Children's Hospital. And to me, when you help, when you help somebody, why do you need to have your name on it? Why are you giving that that big monetary donation because you want to have your name on that and stuff like that? I mean, I would have respected him a whole lot more if he had done it anonymously. Now, you got to understand, too, for a person in that position with that kind of money, the guy's a billionaire, okay? It's a great write-off. They're self-centered. Well, that's a lot of it. They're egomaniacs, a lot of them are, too. But, it's just, but again, like I said, I would rather, I'm going to tell you right now, like I said, when they have those big, huge lotteries, I've always said I would help people, but I would absolutely do it on an anonymous basis. No, they wouldn't even know where that money came from. That's just the way I would do it. I wouldn't want them to know. I don't need them to say thank you or no, my God, you're the best. That's not why I would be doing it. I would be doing it, just because I think it's the right thing to do. But, well, anyway, guys, it is that time. This time goes by so fast every time, the hours do. Unbelievable. Thank you, everybody, for being here. Thank you to my moderators. You guys do an awesome job keeping the chat clean. We had a great crowd tonight. Well over 600 people in the chat, which is absolutely awesome. And a lot of great comments, a lot of great questions. I do appreciate everything, guys. I really, really, truly do. I'm going to tell you what. I am very, very humbled. You have no idea how humbled I am. And you guys have no idea how you help motivate me to do what I do. You really have no idea. And I appreciate all of you. I really, truly do. I am a very, very blessed individual, and I will always say that I am. Luck has part to do with it, I think, too. And but again, I think a lot of it is karma. I think what you put out there, you get back. And I've met some wonderful people on YouTube, and I'm sure I'm going to meet a lot more. So that's what it's all about, and trying to help each other, network, trying to help. So anyway, guys, remember, we are all in this together. That's important to remember. Also remember to hug and kiss the ones you love. Tell them every single day. Tomorrow's not guaranteed. We never know what's going to happen in life. So it's really, really important to tell the people that you care about every day how you feel. Also remember, guys, STD. It's one step at a time, one thing at a time, and one day at a time. Whatever you're trying to accomplish, whatever you're trying to do, you can do it. The only one that's going to stop you from getting there is yourself. Nobody else can stop you. All right? Have a great night. I will see you all tomorrow. Like I said, Mom will be back tomorrow, so we're going to rock on that shop, and I want to get that done. I want to get it done soon. All right, I will see you all later. Have a great night. Prepper Nurse 1, out for now.